Hey guys, SaveAsUntitled here, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 12 of The Ranking Show. We're going to get a little bit weird as we progress in the shows. I think we're going to get into a bit more meme-y things as we go on. But I think as of now, because we're in this sort of Netplay Renaissance, because we've been forced into it by everything that's happened, I wanted to go over some of the big questions and also take some questions from the chat about what running Netplay tournaments is like, the big debates within how rules are supposed to be made. And I feel especially understanding, maybe is not the word I'm looking for. I feel especially qualified, or a little bit more qualified than I would in the past, to talk about this, because if you didn't know, I ran a Netplay tournament last week. Bobby Big Balls won over Panos after resetting in Grand Finals and getting upset early. And also, I'm running another one this week, Smash GG/Save. Sign up. We've got Rishi, Forrest, Michael, Bobby Big Balls, Kem, Jerry, a lot of really incredibly talented players, and we've got only a few spots left. We're capped at 96. But for today's ranking show, like I said, there's probably not going to be, like we talked about last week as well, there's probably not going to be this steady stream of us talking about stuff, because Netplay, and we'll get a little bit into this, the legitimacy of Netplay results and stuff like that, like going down the road, is a little weird to talk about, and will definitely greatly affect the top 100, or the lack thereof of top 100. Again, more things we're gonna get into later. So we're not gonna have too much to talk about in the ranking show besides me flexing on the next cool player that's signed up for Untitled too. Yeah, so for now, we're at least got one more serious episode, unless in some time in the week there's something else to talk about. But without further ado, let's jump into some of these debates. They're in no particular order as well, and Steelix said this right at the start of the show, so that's why I have it in quotes. Yeah, I'm super excited for the Untitled lineup. I'm so glad we already passed last week from 80. Hopefully we won't have 20 DQs off the jump, but I mean, with a free Netplay tournament, that's kind of what you'll expect. So where should we start? I guess we can start with, should events be paid to enter? It brings up an interesting debate, because a lot of people in this time aren't going to have money to enter tournaments. So I would want to have people pay to enter tournaments. I was going to potentially try it out this week for Untitled, but the Smash GG system is so I think it's more PayPal than Smash GG, because I believe PayPal takes like 3% of every transaction and has a flat like 30-cent fee. So say I make the entry fee like $2. So that means I can't do the 3% off the top of my head, but that's almost like 50 cents that's just going straight to PayPal for the entry issue. So no. And this ties in a lot with, should events count for the top 100, because not having money for an event, like I said, with those 20 people DQing from the event last week, it kind of puts us in a situation where there's these lack of stakes going on for events. And with these lack of stakes causes people, well, very easily, the first thing that comes to my mind if we were talking about like, hey, should this event matter for the top 100? It's like, okay, this was a free Netplay tournament that allowed a bunch of people, like, is allowing people from Forest, even though Forest has like Forest, and I think HT said he has like fiber and has a really good connection with East Coast people. Like, hey, there was running this event. I'd be like, oh, I only lost to this guy because I was lagging, or it's a free event with a bunch of people from Florida, why would I take it seriously? Or the seating was so garbage, it's an online event, it was just thrown together by this random YouTuber. There's so much leeway to be able to be like, this event should not matter for the top 100. So because of there not being stakes, I think Quarantined, which is happening this weekend, has a lot of really talented players as well. Two Saint Slug, CC, I believe, is Slox, because I think Slox goes by Crouch Cancel. Who's the 4 seed? But I'm trying to, where would I find a 4 seed? Aklov's here, Bones, Kem. Like, a lot of players you'll be noticing, Save State, Dio. A lot of players you'll also be noticing signed up for Untitled, but I think we're also starting to see, like, there's the Netplay fiends, or the Netplay tournament fiends. I know Dawson, I think, made a tweet about, like, I think it was you, Dawson, who made a tweet like, why isn't there a tournament this day and this day? Like, I want to enter a tournament every single day. There's these people who are out here grinding, super enjoying entering Netplay tournaments. And I'm definitely starting to recognize a bunch of names of people who just keep on going. But what I believe Quarantine is doing is they had events that were going to happen, like the quarterly report series. I believe they paid a little bit into the prize pool, and you could probably read more about this here. But their entry fee, I believe, is like $3 or $5. But that goes to that goes to a coronavirus relief fund. Yeah, $5 entry going towards COVID relief, and then it's a sponsored prize pool. I think that's probably the way to do it. Also, I really need to work with my contrast, but we won't need to worry about it. You guys are paying attention to the screen. You're not looking at me, my super orange looking ass. Maybe it's the red shirt plus the contrast. So I think that's probably the way to do it. Like, get outside sponsors to put money in the prize pool, and hopefully Untitled gets to a big enough place where I can pay for people to put ads on the stream, and we could put that back into the prize pool and back into the community. Venmo, I think Venmo does do for free. That is actually still bring up a good point, because that was when I was still thinking about how we would do paid without going through Smash GG. It would probably be through Venmo, because you're able to go back and forth without fees. I know that's what Gene did for, I think, both Gucci Gang events that I went to. I think I missed one of the Gucci Gang events, but Gene did that for both, and I believe there wasn't a fee. But getting that to work, because that wouldn't work natively through Smash GG, so what you'd have to do is have the signups in here and set some sort of flag to be like that you would have to naturally flag within Smash GG's backend to be like, this person paid me on Venmo, this person didn't pay me on Venmo. So it's kind of, it just adds all these extra steps. And again, from like the jump that we were talking about, I really don't think online events should be paid to enter. And if they are, see, I'm lax-ish on my who can enter kind of event. And there's a good tweet from Bones where Bones is saying they'd rather have events for I think that what the cave is doing is you have to be an MDVA to enter, and my event isn't as strict with that, but I'm still trying to keep it just East Coast and or people who can prove they have good connections. But if there was a paid event, if someone was like, I want to run a paid event, I'd say, okay, you need to limit your region to tri-state or and stay very true to that and get verification that all these players have a good connection, because people are going to be really upset if they're paying $5-10 to enter a tournament with a big prize pool, and they're just like, oh, you got DQ'd because you live a little bit further away from this person, or the random lag rules. It's just it's such a horrible moment. So if you're going to run a paid event, I would say you need to have really, really tight and specific DQ rules and very tight and specific rules for who can register. Yeah. But I think generally, I don't think I could see me having the Untitled tournament be paid. I would love to have people pay for sponsorships and those little pop-up ads on the stream, and then we could put that money back in the prize pool, or for helping me run these tournaments. Because I am, for those of you who don't know, the main portion of the money I make that keeps me being able to pay my rent while I've been working from home, doing YouTubing stuff for the last 12 months. Twitch and YouTube helps a lot, and without that, I would not be able to do this. But the largest portion of my income comes from writing and producing videos for the Pro Guides channel. So it is a little. That's why I have the little ad on the Twitch stream for Untitled to be like, hey, these Twitch Prime subs support me. But my main income source is from that. So all this time I'm taking to plan and do these events is taking away from that. But again, I'm not I never want to be out here begging for money or something like that. I'm definitely considering something, because my Patreon, I feel bad. The patrons there's a lot of, I don't want to pull up the me side of Patreon, because I don't want to dox anyone, but there's a lot of patrons who've been around for a while, and I feel I don't give them enough. I mean, they're staying around, so there's that idea that I am, but I feel I'm not giving back enough to those people. So I'd love to work something in where I either shout out my patrons in some sort of way during the stream, or have certain Patreon levels where hey, if they have a Netplay tournament of themselves, or if they have a music project they're working on, I can give my patrons that ability to sponsor on there. Yeah, but that's a lot of talking shop, and I imagine a lot of this stream is going to be talking shop. How can I prove a good connection? That is another thing that I haven't made an official announcement for Untitled, because I'm unsure how I would go about testing that. It would probably matter. It would probably be you DM me or one of the other TOs, and you just start up a Netplay game and prove that your connection is good with us, because that's kind of the thing that matters the most. Even though I did look up the official Dolphin article, that when you're unported in a match, it shouldn't let it go. Do $1 brackets? I think very low stakes brackets could be a good idea. Yeah. Is there a way to speed test the region? Axis? See, this is why you well, I brought you. I was gonna say I brought you on and act like this is my big idea, but you were the one who had the initiative and reached out to me, and I have great hopes that you're gonna run really the second stream super well. What if the midway point between my match, like Florida, is harder to connect than New York for me? Well, it'd just be who's ever closer to, based on the rule set that I have for this week, which is in the Untitled rules over here, is that who's ever closest to me or the actual region. I think I should probably clarify it too. If you're outside of what counts as East Coast here, like that, you automatically would get that first. Like, if there's two players, and one has the person further away. Well, yeah. DQ. This kind of speaks to my point of making DQ rules is really, really tough to do. Making DQ rules that apply really well. I believe that's something I had listed on here. Yeah, making DQ rules and specifying them. I think that was one of the things I stalled the most on last week, because I was so afraid to find out a good way, or so afraid to put how I would manage DQs in a way. And I think Patty did a tremendous job of taking care of DQs. Like, I didn't get any like big complaints about that after, except for some laggy connections and like HT and Bobby complaining about some laggy connections, but they're still like playable. The Bobby one makes sense because that went to game 3 and there was a big lag spike on the last stock. Yeah, but I think this making, enforcing, and writing good DQ rules might be one of the hardest things about running a Netplay tournament. And I kind of talk about that a little bit here, is that if you want, I think I'm aiming for Untitled. I'm aiming more for a regional style of thing, which is why I'm more willing to let someone like Forrest or HT, who have good connections to like New England players and East Coast players, to come in, because I'm aiming more to be a regional. But an event like the Cave down in MDVA is 100% looking to be a online local. It is like only MDVA players, only people in these states. And I think that this is an important question, one of the most important questions you need to ask yourself, or event planners need to ask themselves when they set together their DQ rules. It's like, what kind of event are we looking to be here? Are you looking to run a regional or local? I think that's a really incredible question. And Two Frames, thank you for bringing that up, because it is really such a difficult thing. Also, I want to scroll back through, because I was kind of locked in on getting through my thoughts to make sure I didn't miss anything from you guys in the chat. Am I paying the hosties? No, Redmatic. That is, I can actually jump on things. Two Frame, thank you for the follow over on Twitch. That's something I was going to jump into here, is that there are a few things, and it kind of goes back to the paid thing, because the paid system is a little bit better. I don't know. I need to look in a little bit more of how you're able to set it up on the TO side for Smash GG, for Challenge, because I've ran events through Challenge before, IRL events at my university. So I wasn't going into Untitled completely like a fresh newborn baby for TOing events. I've TO'd like 5 or 6 events at my university. I think our biggest one was like 39, I want to say. We had like 5 setups running Ultimate. It was an Ultimate tournament, but it was 5 setups. It was for charity. It was super fun. But where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so I've experience with Challenge. I don't have experience with Challenge and using pay online with Challenge. And I, for the longest time, thought that Smash GG, to put your tournament on the website, you needed to pay. And apparently it's free. And like I said in the Discord server to, I forget who pointed it out, that as much as I love to hate on Smash GG and just like rip into it when looking through brackets, because Smash GG does have a lot of issues. And to be fair, Smash GG is kind of running on a skeleton crew. I forget how many people like work at Smash GG still. I know there's a lot of people who have either like moved on to better things, like Matt Dabzeb like works for the Call of Duty League. I think Matt Dabzeb used to work for Smash GG. So they're already running on a skeleton crew, and there's a very realistic possibility that the website may be defunct. Thankfully, a lot of people use it, because, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think about now, how the hell does Smash GG make money? I guess it's through those compendiums. Maybe they take like a cut from that, or potentially they take a cut for registration fees. But circling back, because those are kind of unanswered questions that I don't have the answers to. Smash GG is free to run tournaments through, and tremendously, like, once you get the hang of it, like, to do just what you need to do is pretty easy. I actually set up my first one on stream, and I was getting a little frustrated, but it was literally my first time ever trying to start up a tournament on here. But once I got it through for Untitled 1, and got, like, the practice of setting everything up, pretty straightforward, and a really nice system for setting it up, and 100% cleaner looking. Like, fantastically cleaner looking. Libboy, thank you for the sub. I appreciate that. The second sub of the day, and thank you for saying keep up the good work. 2 months in a row, that's a big old save W for me. SG always feels like it's lagging. It's also impossible to look up brackets. Yeah, SW Wonder, you kind of hit the nail on the head. I brought that up a little bit earlier. That, yeah, just Smash DG is really difficult. Can be a little bit difficult even for someone like me who, like, even for writing those pro guide video, like 75 to 80% of my job is just trolling through Smash GG. And they're always adding in features. When they add in the feature where you could just, do I have Digiog? When they added in this feature where you could just click on and see everyone's run through the path, was one of the greatest things in the world. Because I used to have to go through bracket runs back when in like 2017 when I started making videos. I had to like go through tournament bracket runs like through in each individual bracket match and like look at it and track someone all the way through the event. This didn't exist back when I started making videos. So I still have like copybooks and copybooks full of like bracket runs. I still do that now, but it's so much easier to do when it's set up like this. So Smash GG does do a lot of things. Also, this is awesome. An awesome feature that it has, and also really awesome seeing one of my own events on a top players thing, but I digress. What was I talking about again? Smash GG Earth Challenge. Yeah, so also the biggest thing, because Psalmist pinged me that someone over on the r/SSBM set up this thing for Discord servers that helps run events. But Smash GG kind of already does that. I don't want to, I think I should be probably cool to go check this out. Let me pull up Untitled 1. That the matches, and there are things that definitely I need to tweak it, but that's more on me than anything. I need to see the back end. But the matches pretty much run themselves. I'm trying to get in here real quick. Again, as much as I just said that I'm kind of good at navigating Smash GG, I'm still learning. Like, this is my second tournament this week. This Tuesday night will be my second week. But like, okay, nope, that's not it. Let's refresh that real quick. But I can just like jump into one of these matches that actually progressed. Yeah. So like JVac versus Codeman. We'll jump into here. And this is, so when you get the match, I believe you have to check in first. Yeah, so they join the room and they can either talk through Discord. I set it up for my tournament where you can do through multiple things, but it's really great for online events because if they can call, I believe, for a moderator if the match messes up. But see, they can report like game. I don't know if they can report stocks because again, I'm just used to that. They can report stages, characters. Like this all goes right into. They can put the host code, and Smash GG sets this up automatically for them. I'm pretty sure Challenge does not have anything like that, but it's like specifically set up for Melee. Has even the character icons and makes the bracket progression look really cool. And see, let me see if I can find a match. Okay, so this was a match that was on stream, Majora's versus Pudgy Panda. I believe Patty jumped in and was like, yeah. See, Patty just jumped in, you're in the stream queue, stuff like that. Like Smash GG, the events on here run themselves. So this is the biggest reason they use Smash GG. Well, Smash GG is free, and the events run themselves, so you don't have to worry about the Discord server. I have the Discord server for the event, just kind of as a backup plan, and for the days leading up to the event to share any information. And I think those two together is probably the way to do it. But it's really hard beyond that, the payment system, which again, I'm not really super sure for Smash GG. I imagine it's probably the same system where PayPal or Stripe or someone else is taking a cut of whatever payment you make in. But yeah. The event essentially runs itself through Smash GG. So if you're running a Netplay tournament, take the time to learn Smash GG, set up your account. It works wonders. So I would say I'm very much in the Smash GG camp, a statement I never thought I would have said before. Okay, I wish there's an easy command for strike through so I could do that. So what else have we not talked about? Should events count for the top 100? We briefly touched on this when we said events should be paid to enter. I think absolutely not. Because it kind of goes into a lot of these other issues we were talking about before. pay to enter because there's being a lack of stakes. The varying rule sets that people are running, not rule sets in terms of like what stages are legal and whatnot, and we'll get to that as well, which has been a bit of variety on rule sets, much to Pudgy Panda's chagrin. But I definitely think events should not start for the top 100 because of all those issues about lag and things like that in the past and rule sets changing. There's just so many. So for events in person, it's like UCF, maybe wobbling rule set, and that's pretty much it. What we're going to have, like, the difference between, say, Bobby Big Balls playing Panos at Shine versus Bobby Big Balls and playing against Panos at Genesis. There are going to be very minor things that change those two sets that are playing in person. And this is just like two players. But say Bobby Big Balls is playing against Panos on a Netplay tournament. Is there someone else in the game hosting the match? Is Bobby streaming his match currently and maybe focusing more on talking to his streaming audience instead of playing the game, or more trying to get combos? Is there no prize? So Bobby's maybe more, again, trying to play it up a little bit more instead of focusing on the game. There's so many external factors that kind of put these little thoughts in your head, these little question marks against any result. And like LLDL, like that's a great example. Like Untitled 1 is a great example. Bobby tore through pretty much everyone else except Panos in Grand Finals, and LLDL, who he lost a set to. And Bobby, probably a very obvious example of Bobby kind of sandbagging a little bit, was him going puff game 2, and then when he had the game 1, SDing before LLDL did and losing game 2. That's a very clear example, but there's just so many of these extenuating circumstances that it doesn't, I don't think it would be legitimate to count these as top 100 sets. And that's why for the ranking show, like for an idea I threw it around being like, hey, let's report on all the Netplay events this year, or all the Netplay events that are happening, but it's just like, it's not the same. I was going to say it doesn't feel the same, but 100% it's just not the same because, like I was saying before, Bobby and Panos play a set at Shine on the East Coast, play a set at Genesis on the West Coast. It's pretty much the same melee, besides maybe they have different controllers. Maybe they're playing UCF on, UCF not. But when it's Netplay, maybe someone at Panos' house is streaming something on Netflix and makes his connection a little bit more laggier, and that either plays in his favor or doesn't. It's just a roundabout way to say, no, these matches I don't think should count for the top 100. Maybe you could make some sort of Netplay ranking without the air of legitimacy that the official one does, but no. Yeah. Netplay ranking. Yeah, Netplay ranking. Netplay ranking is the only thing that sounds worse than doing a ranking based on the only events we have so far in 2020. It's like 3 or 4 major events. Doing a top 100 or even a top 50. I honestly think even like a top 20 with just the results we have in 2020, and very realistically the only results for in real life tournaments we'll have for 2020, would be one of the dumbest exercises in stupidity. Maybe I'll make it a goddamn sub goal to do a Netplay ranking. Ralph and Around already is leaked it though, so there's no point. Bobby number 1, that's all it's gonna be. Maybe I'll make a sub goal to give myself an aneurysm to do a top 1, not a top 100 Netplay ranking. That'd be a lot. What's my thoughts on when tourneys are coming back? That is so much tied into how the global health situation is, and like experts and doctors kind of really don't know what the hell's going on. So not a clue. So what else do we have to talk about? Yeah, that's a question. I'm an expert on I don't know what I could even call myself an expert on anything. Yeah, no. But that brings us down to, I believe all we have left is general rule set stuff, and then Steelix's question that they jumped out at the beginning of the show. So general rule set stuff, banning wobbling. I think I could definitely go either way with this. Tetrix, I did not beat the Nuzlocke. We're going to start up again on Wednesday night until every week, like starting on Wednesday, we're going to do it till I beat it. But let's not get too sidetracked from talking about my Pokemon Shield Nuzlocke that went horribly wrong. Wobbling ban, I think we essentially get into the same discussions we were getting into, or we have been getting into for millennia about if wobbling should be banned or not. I personally chose to ban it for Untitled just because I wanted to follow along with the Smash World Tour rule set. Because I think that's kind of what people are going to want to get used to, or hypothetically want to get used to, if the Smash World Tour is going to happen this year. Like 2 frames, I was saying the 2 frames, everything is so much up in the air. But my reasoning behind personally banning wobbling for my events is that the Smash World Tour is going to, whenever everything blows over, is going to be the thing that is happening. So I think my event should be able to get people prepared for that. Freezing Stadium, I actually found something through the research of today's event, is that you can actually put in which event was it? I believe it was the Nordic local? Is it from in here? I don't know which local it was. Maybe it was Fellow Fridays. Yeah, Fellow Fridays. I found out that you can just there's a code you can just put in for Frozen Stadium. So I'm definitely open to the idea of using it in the future. But the issue, not really an issue with that, it's just adding another step of players having to do something. It just seems, it opens for more opportunity where TOs are going to have to jump in and be like, hey, did you tweak these settings right? Or a player could go in there and accidentally put something else in, put in the wrong code, or tweak it in a different way that could kind of mess it up. So I don't want to add another. I feel like there's a supply chain thing that I probably learned in business school that I almost certainly slept through that class. There's a word for something like this, but adding another step of complexity to the chain of things that people need to prep, besides like getting their Netplay set up, it just adds another chance for things. They could also put character buffs in codes. Yeah. So I think it's a super, super exciting thing to potentially have in the game. But I think adding that extra level of complexity, at least for now, while people are still in the early days of the Netplay Renaissance, I'm not quite ready to freeze Stadium, but I'm definitely down for it. And again, like different starter stages, I do think this is a really good time to start experimenting with rule sets because of how low stakes. That is one of the good things that the not being paid to enter and events not counting for the top 100. There's a lot more event, and there's a lot more low stakes events. So the possibility for players to try out to do little case studies on like, how does freezing Stadium affect my online local series? How does different starter stages? How does getting rid of FD completely affect our local series? I think this is a really interesting time, and a really low impact, low severity is maybe not the word I'm looking for. It's a great time to try out different things because everything's so much more low stakes. And I guess you could also, like, devil's advocate on that, say that you're not going to get the best data from that because, again, people aren't trying in the low stakes. So interesting. I'm probably going to aim on the more conservative side for testing out rule sets, or at least I can see from now for Untitled. It'll probably just be wobbling ban, traditional, everything else. It's pretty much, I'm going to say, close to that Smash World Tour rule set because of what I was talking to before. And then last, we'll finish off with and again, this is all subject to change. We're in very wildly changing times, so you know. Dan Savada was the one who found out against the guy who was cheating with Pichu? That's nuts. Also, Saigas, thank you for entering in Untitled. And anyone else who's here who would be interested in potentially entering in Untitled. Like 2 frames, if you're saying before, if you have a good connection, I don't know if you're already signed up for Untitled, but if you want to think about entering !tournament or !bracket, sign up. We've only got a few more spots. God, I immediately go into salesman mode when I start talking about my tournament. Well, it's not exclusively my tournament. Axis is helping out. Gene's happening out. Yeah. But yeah, we've got math is hard. 13 spots left. Holy moly. Yeah. So let's go back to that last question. I don't know if Stilks is still here or Stilks. I don't know if Stilks looks like they're still here in the chat. He said as we started off the show that he was afraid for me to talk about this because giving more attention to Netplay tournaments will kill the melee scene. And my initial reaction is just the opposite, because it's either, excuse me, right now this is all we have for Melee. So the options at this moment, and Steelix has another a point onto this where I can kind of understand where their logic is coming from. But this is all we have for Melee right now. It's not like the community's attention is being divided through paying attention to Netplay tournaments or paying attention to IRL tournaments. There are no IRL tournaments. So the option is pay attention to these Netplay tournaments or pay attention to something else. And I feel like it would be so foolish for people. 2 Frames, thank you for signing up. It would be so foolish for people to, in this time where there's so much more attention to be had on the Melee community, where a lot of people are staying at home looking for things to do, when they have all this free time that could potentially be taken up by watching Melee or competing in Melee. It feels so foolish to just be like, I'm afraid this is going to affect my local attendance when we get back in there. I think that's just bad. That's just a bad idea. But Steelix's rebuttal to this was that kind of down the road kind of mindset of when everything comes back, are people going to stay in their habits to be like, why would I go out to this local? Why would I drive an hour to go to this local, pay $10 and go O2 when I can stay at home, pay nothing, and compete in this local online and go O2? And then after I go O2, play some more matches, play some more friendlies. And I do kind of see a little bit of a nugget of truth in there, but there's so many people who are staunchly against Netplay, and I wouldn't say I'm staunchly against Netplay, but it's so different. Playing Netplay and playing in Netplay tournaments is so incredibly different than playing in a tournament like an IRL tournament. Not only is there that money on the line and the stakes there's actual stakes for versus pretty much no stakes for online tournaments. Yeah. So for the people who go O2, like Custom Man saying, a lot of the people who go to, myself included, are more going there for the community and more for me. Like, when I go to a tournament, I'm not expecting to go on this crazy run. I would love to go 1-2, 2-2 when I went to Gucci Gang, but I'm more going there to see top players that I'm interested to talk to or play friendlies with. And like that last thing, I just want to play friendlies. When I went to Gucci Gang, I was there from pretty much the venue opening till the venue closed, just playing friendlies. Yeah. You're gonna go meet your friends. Yeah, it's more of a social activity going in person. Like, you don't get that same feeling from Netplay. There's a lot of abstract reasons why I think locals, that can be hard to grasp, why locals I think are more important than Netplay tournaments. Yeah, friendlies is playing a metric ton of friendlies with someone is such an enjoyable experience. My favorite thing that's probably my favorite Melee thing, just like meeting some random people, sitting down in a friendly setup. Like, for example, when I went to Gucci Gang, there's this guy who I was also stumbling around the Drexel campus. I was like, where the hell do I go for this? And I saw another guy who looked like, not the stereotype people, but he looked like someone who played Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube, because I also looked like someone who plays Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube. And I had messaged the Temple Discord server. I was like, where the hell did I go? And I got my directions. I was like, yo, I think they're downstairs. And this random guy who I had never met, I'm sad that I don't remember his tag. He plays Red Yoshi. But him and I, and then these 2 other guys, played doubles for like an hour and a half as soon as we got to the venue. And that's like that sense of connection. And like, I can't tell you, that's more on me. I think it reflects poorly that I don't remember their names or the tags. But that was so fun. Like, that was so enjoyable. I don't think I've had anywhere near the amount of fun in a doubles online set, in a friendlies online set, that I had like playing doubles with those people. Like, it's so much more enjoyable. Yeah, so that's my little spiel on why I don't think Netplay tournaments will kill the Melee scene. And again, I think, as I said, I'm going to be conservative on my rule sets, but I don't think we have to operate under the assumption that we have no idea what's going to go on with the Melee scene and when tournaments are going to be back. So we gotta keep Melee. I think Netplay tournaments are going to do more to keep Melee alive than kill it. More positive than negative. Yeah. And I think for the official portion of the show, I think that's probably about it. There's not really much more I have to talk about. This was kind of the big thing for the show. I think next week we're gonna get a little meme-y. I think I'm gonna do a tier list of all the alt colors in Melee, all like the alt skins. So that'll be a little fun activity. That's going to kind of be what the ranking show is moving forward. And then also me shilling Untitled and talking about all the cool top players in it. But I think after this, I think I'm going to play a few friendlies for a little bit. Maybe get the stream to an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then hang out for a bit with you gamers, because I haven't played some Melee on stream myself. And I got to get into the mindset of a true gamer before I commentate tomorrow night. But yeah, I've been SaveAsUntitled. I hope you... Oh, let me switch over to the fancy screen. On screen. There we go. So I've been SaveAsUntitled. I hope you VOD viewers have enjoyed this episode of the ranking show. Again, it's a changing thing. It's going to be very different from the ranking show we knew before. And whenever Melee IRL events come out, we're going to go into the 3rd season of the ranking show. But for now, I've been SaveAsUntitled. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.